I think that love is the most overused word in the world, in the English language. But I feel like that's would I say call it a verb or a noun, my dear? See, whatever speech, whatever figure of speech you think it is, I think that that word has been used a lot, and I think that that's because of English. The language English has its restrictions when it comes to love. Like people say, "I love you," "I love my children," "I love my oranges," "I love to work out," "I like talking to my friends." All of them is under that love. I love this station. I love this color. So it's like all of them are under love. But when I think of Igbo language, right, where I'm from, Onitsha, if you love someone, you say from Genaya. It's only someone that you love romantically that you can say that to. I don't know if you can tell your friend that from Genaya. Maybe you can. Who knows? Can you tell your children in Igbo are from Genaya? Igbo people, please let me know, because I don't think I ever heard of that statement from Genaya, and what it actually means, which I think is wow. When I think of it, it means I see you in my eye. That's what it literally means. I see you with my eye, or I see you in my eye. Do you understand? But that's how you tell someone I love you. So it's like I see you and I know you. I don't know if you understand. I see you and it's like saying you matter. That's what love is. Anyway, all this English is onto Shetty's book, Eight Rules of Love. Welcome to Nest Telly. If this is your first time, I am Nez. If this is not your first time, welcome back. And of course, this is your first time, please welcome. Sit down, chill, get a drink. Let's talk. We're going to be talking about the book by Shetty, the former monk, called Eight Rules of Love. The general body of this book is that he actually just explained love in a way. Why I love this book, right, is that he starts it from the very beginning. Like he does a 360 on love, in that he believes that love doesn't start like romantic love. We're talking of romantic love now. Love doesn't start from, when you meet somebody and you start dating. No, it starts from long before then. Who you are, how you are, the way you are. That's where it starts. And he believes that you can love the last part of this love. Like I said, it's 8 rules, so I'll go through them. The last part of this love is actually if this relationship needs to break, if it needs to scatter, it's part of it. I don't know if you understand. And I love that about it, because I think that something that we've been sold is this concept where if love is involved, then it must last, it must be together. Sometimes this concept of love comes with a lot of issues. And if you love someone, it should matter to you the way the person fares. So if the person is doing well, if you happen not to be inside, it's actually okay. Like you have to, that's part of the love you get. You love that somebody does well. If you're a man, by man I don't mean husband, I'm talking about someone you're in a relationship with, a guy or a girl happens to find somebody that makes them happier than you ever can. If you love that person, you should let the person. I don't know if you understand. I don't know. It's not the most popular, but that's kind of how I've always looked at love, and that's why this book felt like a validation to me. So in describing these 8 rules of love, this is his second book. He wrote this book in 2023, I think. The first one was written in 2022. That was Think Like a Monk, where he talked about, I think he was talking about, I've not read it, but he talked about how he was in a monk for a while and then came out. So it's like, this book actually includes some of the things that he learned as a monk. Is like, how do I put it? Some kind of, he talks about things like karma, things I don't really believe, but he talks about them, and he was able to, from those teachings that he got when he was a monk and the practices that he does now, he's able to pull from it to be able to teach us this thing. Now, let me tell you one story that I really liked. He talked about how the day he proposed to his wife, he didn't have a lot of money. They were both kind of broke, right? And he decided to do this wonderful thing. Like, he had gone and done research, the most romantic way to propose to my girlfriend. He went, he got a ring, he got a string quartet, got a carriage that had a horse in it. So it's like, the stuff we know, like in the movies, right? So he did this thing where he did this whole thing, right? Okay, then there was supposed to be dinner in a park. So it started like in a little surprise. I think it was, first of all, the dinner, right? Then the musicians came and sang. He popped the question, and then there was supposed to be the carriage ride around the park. Anyway, this this 2-hour planned event ended up in the hospital. Let me just throw it out there. It was the funniest thing. Like I was listening to the book. He was one that read it. So I was listening to the book. I was like, hey, how did he reach there? Because I was thinking, okay, I mean, that's very thoughtful of him. This is nice for him to propose this girl. Now, these people landed in the hospital. Do you know what happened? Auntie, Mrs. Madam J. Shetty, I don't know her name, J. Shetty's wife, and he mentioned the name multiple times. I forgot her name. Now, Madam J. Shetty is allergic to horses. And he said that day he was in the hospital trying to save this girl's life because allergy won't kill him. He started thinking about a lot of things that went wrong that night. The park was too windy. The food that he prepared for the dinner came out cold. The musicians were not exactly musicians that the girl actually cared about. But in his mind, there was an idea. There was like an ideal. You have to do something, there has to be something that you do, it has to be something memorable. And this was what he came up with. Do you understand? Now, I imagine, I don't know whether he actually said it, but I imagine that he just went and did a Google search. Was 10 or top 3 most romantic ways of proposing, and he did this thing. And I think that's, again, like I said, what I liked about this book is that it validates me. So if you feel a certain kind of way about this book, I'm sorry. Okay? Me, I was validated because something I've always baffled at is when we believe that there's a way everybody should, and it's something like even down to church. I've always felt that way. Like if I hear a pastor preaching and he's saying, as a man, you should do this to a woman, I feel like you don't know the woman you're with. Do you understand? I don't think it's something you should do. You should just throw out there. Some people say, "Oh, men are like babies. Anytime they do it." I don't believe so. Maybe your man is a baby, but find out whether the one you're with, they understand. Find out whether you get. So I feel like the more this, I'm getting into a long story before I start this book. This is so funny. Anyway, love is one of those things I like talking about. I think love, relationship, marriage is one of those things I actually enjoy talking about. So please bear with me. Please forgive me. Anyway, so what was I saying? So I think that love is a singular act, is a singular event. It's something that you do as this particular romantic love is something that you do for one person. Do you understand? It's not something like there's something I tell a lot of younger people, like when they are talking about men are not, there are no men in Lagos. I tell them, you don't need men, you need one man. Like if you're trying to settle down, you don't need to be with multiple men. And so there's a theory that there needs to be a crop, like a crop of good men, then you pick one from it. No, you're looking for the one that suits you. One. So before then, every other person is going to be a mess. Then you find the one that is good. But you see, when you go with the whole, man, there's no men in Lagos, blah, blah, what that gives you, the impression it gives you that you have to manage one. You don't actually have to manage. I happen to talk to one, again, like I said, I talk about this a lot. I happen to talk to someone that is a lead counselor in one of the big churches in Lagos. And he said that one of the things he's still learning to do in the first, that's what they taught them. Something that they take is a church that takes family life very seriously. Something they taught them was that if you find out that a couple that is coming for counseling to get married, that it feels like one is managing the other, do not allow them to marry. And I thought it was very strange because you know how churches are. Some people say, if the girl is pregnant, if the guy doesn't have money, like I know in Daystar, money is a reason for them to not allow people to marry. If you find out that somebody is being shady with money or they doesn't look like you having it, it's enough reason. That's in Daystar, my church. But in this particular church, they said that if they find out that one person, like the person is managing, the person is like, what can somebody do? They stop the relationship. Because if you think of how far you're planning to go with it, you're talking of 30, 40, 50 years of your life. Is how long can you possibly manage? And then there's the place of you managing that person. And the person you're managing, do you know how that person has to feel for the next 30 to 40 years? Think about it. Let me get into the book. Because back to what I'm saying, 8 rules of love. The first thing is like the introduction. It's like before Jeshet even starts giving us the 8 rules, he said, first of all, you have to get used to being alone. You have to get comfortable to being alone. If you're somebody who needs to be in a relationship every single time, you need to do something about that. He says, he actually broke down steps, things that you can do to ensure that you are okay with being alone, because you need to be able to love yourself. And the thing is that knowing yourself, knowing who you are, is one of the best gifts you can give yourself, your partner, your children, your siblings. Knowing who you are is one of the best gifts, because then you're not too shifted by wind. You're not doing, he acted like this, so me, I acted like this. You did it. I don't know if you understand. Also, there's a security that it comes with. You get. So that's start there. First of all, that's the beginning. Let's start from the very beginning. Be okay with being alone. Learn to be alone. Now we'll go through the 8 steps. I have to go through my trusty laptop because I don't want to spend more time blabbering than I already am. Okay, so what did he say? He started with saying, that it starts with you. Okay, so there are like 8 practical rules. That's what he called them. Okay, so number 1 is, like I said, let yourself be alone. Learn to enjoy yourself. Something I think I find very sad that I hear sometimes is, especially, and it happens to women. I don't know if it happens to guys, but the people I know that are spoken to about it is women. They say things like how, I want to see a movie, but I don't want to go alone. I would have loved to go to dinner, but I don't want to go alone. Or I don't know, it's not like I don't want it, like I cannot. I have to have someone with me. So there are people, some of them have married. They are married to men who don't want to do these things with them, which is also another sad thing, but oh well. But they are with men that don't want, like, they come back from work, they're tired. They don't want to, all this one you're saying, they don't want to do it with you. You get, then you now say, oh, can we just go out for dinner? Let's go and eat. And the guy's like, I don't want to go. If you want to go, go. So he's not telling you sit down, don't go. He's telling you can go, but go by yourself. And you're like, oh, it only works if he's with me. No, you get, it's part of being alone. Be okay. You're not owing anybody any explanation. Nobody can come and beat you. Let's be honest. Sit down, eat your food. If you suddenly feel like, oh, I want to go out for ice cream, go out, sit down and have your ice cream. You get, you don't have to. That's this thing about how you need to have someone with you all the time. That needs to be treated. That needs to be taken care of. Okay, so that's the number one. Say, let yourself be alone. Be comfortable with, silence. If you're in the room with yourself and you're writing, you're meditating, you're praying, you're doing anything that you're doing. Do you understand? You don't need like actual noise all the time. And it comes in different ways. Sometimes people have to have something in the background playing. You have to have the TV on. You have to no. Learn to be alone by yourself. Because, like I said earlier, the best love you can give to others comes from you knowing and loving yourself first. That's number one. Number two, he said, do not ignore your karma. I'm a child of God. I don't believe in karma. Do you understand? I don't believe in karma. I do believe that there are things, there's cause and effect, Abby. There's things you do and the consequences that can come with it. Some people may skip the consequences or the direct consequences, but in the East, they will say, oh, the place you will get, you're going to have to stop. And they say, my dad used to say that I love the Lord. He said, the person that was not flogged, oh yeah, when you did not flog someone when they were small, the person is going to have to be flogged when they are older because you have to collect flogging. That's so life be. You get. So, the way life is, if you make some terrible decisions, there's some terrible decisions that will shift the way your life is most of the time. Like, think about it. There are some things that you did. Like, imagine doing something big, like lying to someone that you love. Do you understand? Do you know that lie, for you to sustain that lie, you're going to have to do multiple things to sustain that lie? Meanwhile, if you just told the truth, you would have just stayed. So imagine one day you go out, right? And you met somebody that you shouldn't have met. You know what I'm talking about. You met someone you're not supposed to meet. You come home. You're a woman. You come home. Your husband say, where did you go to? You say, oh, I just took a walk around. You've lied. You've done what you want to do. Here's the thing. Tomorrow, he's going to say, that day you were walking around, did you see something? You'll be like, no, I didn't see it. Lie number two. You didn't see it because you didn't do what you said you were doing. I don't know if you understand. So it's like it continues. And the thing is that the longer that lie stays, depending on how hot this situation is, you're going to have to do more lying. And I feel like, I don't know if that's what they call karma, but me, I believe that to be consequences. You get, because what then happens is that when it is something big, you have to go through a lot of stress in your life to sustain this lie. Like, have you ever, like, I remember back in secondary school when I was still a child of the world, and I used to lie a lot back in the days, right? I would tell a lie, and when the lie becomes too long and I have to continue proving it is true, I will actually involve a friend of mine, which is wild. I'll call a friend and say, please, if this person calls you and asks you, what happened? You have to tell them this. So it's like, now I have to rope this person into this story. Meanwhile, so that's why I learned to start telling the truth, because really, all this line, it's too much work. Like, I'm not getting paid for this. You get. So it's the same thing with most things that you do that dishonor you. Do you understand? Telling someone you love them when you don't love them. Come on, do you understand? I feel like that's where all these things come into play. Do you understand? But I'm not a big whatever of karma, honestly. So in this one, he talked about acknowledging your past shapes, how your past shaped your relationship patterns. So I feel like at this point, I'm someone that has gone to therapy, and I believe that it was after I did therapy, I started realizing that my relationship pattern was actually greatly influenced by the way I grew up. You know, this is all a therapy thing, Sha. I don't know if it's the same for everybody else, but I think that one thing I ask a lot of people now is that when they are with who they are with, or they are asking themselves, oh, I can't believe I did this, blah, blah, blah. I think to myself, you may not be asking the right question. So instead of saying, I can't believe I married this guy, or I can't believe I settled for this, you ask yourself, What was it about my life at the time that made me think it was okay to settle with this person? Do you understand? In asking that question, I found something amazing about myself. In acknowledging how your past affects your relationship patterns, and by this, it's not just relationship with the loved one, or that's a romantic partner. I'm talking of even with your parents, your siblings, the way you love everybody. How did your past affect that? In doing this, it's easier for you to know how to do the whole relationship thing. That's number two. Number three is define love before you think it or feel it. I remember reading Tony Tone's book, and that was the first time I actually heard someone say that the reason why you need to go to therapy is because even your idea of what is good actually may not be good. Does that make any sense? I remember one silly guy, silly, very silly guy. He's still my friend, but he's a very silly guy. I've not heard anything so ridiculous in my life. But he told me something when I just moved to Lagos. He said that he was in the UK for 6 months. And the major thing that annoyed him the most about being in the UK, it wasn't the cold. It wasn't the cold. It wasn't the fact that, people are not relational in nature. It wasn't that he was staying somewhere. For his anger was that he wasn't hearing gen noise. That guy is so silly. I need to call him. I was like, you're mentally disturbed, because what do you mean by you ain't hearing generator noise? Out, I mean, please, in case you're watching from anywhere else. In Nigeria, we have a power issue, so we turn on gens a lot. So it's very common for you to randomly hear, drrrr, and those things are loud, like they can give you headache. And in Lagos, because of how clustered Lagos is, there's almost always, if it's not a business, it is your neighbor, you will hear generator noise. This guy told me that what he missed about not being in Nigeria for 6 months was a lack of gen noise. I was like, something's wrong with you. So this is a case of what you think is good is actually not good, because how is a constant buzzing sound what you like about being in a place? Let's connect it to relationship. Some people believe that relationship needs to be violent for it to work. Some people believe relationships need to be argumentative, combative for it to work. So when you meet somebody, you hear some girls say things like, oh, sorry. You hear something like, oh, I met this guy, and I really like him. Like, I just talked with him, and it just felt like, he felt like an old friend that I've noticed. Your old friend may have been extremely manipulative to you, if you think about it. When you think, oh, I really love him, I like the way that, he'll just look at me and say, come on, will you come? Let us be going. You need to figure out what is good. What is good generally. Because the thing is that when it comes to relationships, especially the romantic part, and we're in Nigeria, let's talk about Nigeria, right? A lot of us are dating to marry. I don't know if a lot of us are dating just like, I don't know a lot of women that are just, oh, let's date 8 years. Let's see, after 8 years, saying, let's see how it goes. My dear, in 8 years, they are thinking, yeah, it is going to alter. Let us do this. So it's like you've spent 8 years with this guy that feels like home, and you feel very unsettled with the person. You feel unsettled because there were things in the beginning that you thought were okay, but they're not okay. You get, and this is where I talk about the uniqueness of being with somebody. You're with a singular person. This person is new, this person is different. You too, you are new and you are different. Some things are just different compared to every other person. You cannot group me with all the other women. You cannot group your guy with all the other men. Okay, so what was this thing? You have to define what love is for you. Do you understand? Are you someone that, things like love language come into play? But I'm also like this on love language, but that's my own personal thing. Things like love language come into play. Do you feel more loved when somebody's listening to you? Do you feel more loved when someone is helping you out with doing things? Do you feel more loved when someone sees you and says, wow, Imaka, you scatter everything, man, you're fine? Do you understand? Do you feel more loved when someone gives you, when every time your husband goes out, comes back, buys you something? You're like, oh, like, this man love me, die. Is that it? You get, find out what love is before you go and choke head inside where you don't know. Because you can enter somewhere, they'll just use you and do something. Don't say I didn't warn you. Okay? Me and Jay, we are warning you. Be careful. Okay. So that's number 3. Number 4 is your partner is your guru. This is my favorite one. I'm going to try to be very short about it. This is my favorite because I've talked about it already. See your partner as someone who helps you to grow. So I think that a lot of this borders on honesty. Do you understand? If you're honest with yourself as a person, if you're honest, like if you're someone that plans to grow and do well, like you want to grow, you want to flourish. Do you understand? As a human being, in your work, in your career and everything, you have to understand the place of truth in your life. A lot of us have this Delulu situation we got going. All of us think we are good. All of us think we are the hero. Everybody else is a villain. Sometimes you are the villain, even to yourself. So that thing where you felt like, oh, I didn't have a choice. Before you married, you realized something. There's a whole lot I want to talk about. I think I'll run a commentary on that one later, right? This thing where you think that, oh, you saw something that was a problem and you shifted it to the side because you thought, oh, it's not, you have become the villain. I don't know if you understand. You've joined in the people that are holding yourself hostage in this situation. So that being said, understand, if you work in honesty, you honestly enter a relationship and you share honestly with the person that you're with, and the person is also honest with you, not just you, and the other person is not. The person is also honest with you. Do you understand? Both of you are not like, he doesn't tell you good morning and you have to go outside and be sure that is actually morning. Not that type. I'm talking of honesty. Both of you are honest with yourselves. You have to accept and understand that this person has become kind of like your guru. Your guru, the person is teaching you to love yourself. The person is teaching you to love them. And in this, you're learning to grow. In this, you're learning to grow. So what that means is that you're going to have a lot of uncomfortable conversations. You're going to see, you're going to be told some things that you don't know that are true about you. So one thing is that the annoying thing about this type of things that you hold on to is that a lot of people know this problem are there, but they chose not to tell you. The person that loves you told you, and then you choose to turn it into a problem. They are toxic. They are this one. They are that one. My sister. I don't know. I'm talking to women more than I'm talking to men because I know there are some men here. But let's just carry on, okay? So that's it. Your partner is your guru. So first of all, you have to choose this person well. We've already decided things like, when you look at your patterns from the back, and then you've learned to love yourself and you've learned to understand who you are and what you bring to relationship. You define what love is. You're not in a relationship with the person. You have to be willing to learn. You submit as a woman to the husband, to your man, sorry. Yes, and to teach you to love. Oga will submit to you as a man to teach him how to love. Because both of you have to love each other. I don't know where people think they are going a lot of times when you're married for 20 years and you're still proud with your partner. Where are you going to? What's the goal? Like, you plan to go and marry, like, what do you want plan to do with yourself? That's a whole other conversation. Anyway, that's number 4. Number 5, your purpose comes first. This number 5, I felt when I was reading the book, I felt like this is the first thing they should tell you actually. Like, immediately after telling you that you should get used to being alone. Find and hone in your purpose. Does that make any sense? Your purpose, what you are here to do in this world, is more important than the relationship. That is why the person you're with has to be in kind of aligned to that. Does that make any sense? Like, you cannot be let me see. Pastor Kisley said you cannot be a pillar and marry a caterpillar. That's a very simple way of saying it, but it's abstract. I'm looking for a simple way to say it. You cannot be I don't know how to put it. Oh, there's this lady, I've forgotten her name. She's a human rights activist, right? And because she's a human rights activist here in Nigeria, she goes through into prison all the time. And I remember listening to her at this thing one time she was in a panel, and somebody asked her, okay, so how do you deal, like, doesn't your husband complain? Like, you're always going to jail, blah, blah, blah. What do you do about that? She said that my husband cannot complain. And of course, at first, people were like, how can you say that? She said, my husband met me. Both of us met ourselves inside jail. It's very simple. So you need to find your purpose very early. That's my point. As a man, as a woman, please find that purpose. Very, very, the earlier you can find it, the better. If you don't know it now, go and start doing research. What do I like? How do I like it? What do I want to do? And it's not your job. Your purpose in this life. What do you plan to do? Pastor Nike from this time used to go back in the days before she traveled to the US. She used to go to some parts of the north to deliver food and all that. Imagine if her husband say, your pastor's wife, you cannot go and be carrying food. I don't know if you understand. That's it. So you have to live. Your purpose is more important than you get. And I'm not talking as, again, I'm not saying man, woman, I'm saying you as a person. You have to find this out for yourself. You get, because it's in your purpose that you're able to live full, you're able to grow. Do you understand? You're able to, I don't know how to put it, you're able to, I remember my ex, I just remember this. My ex met me when I still was toying with the idea of being a model, right? And when I tried to become a fashion designer, I saw a major problem. The guy did not want me to do it. Now, the reason I don't know, I'm not sure I can figure it out. And I've made it a duty not to try and figure out what my partner, like, I feel like if I cannot ask you and you cannot answer me, I shouldn't try to figure it out. Honestly, I feel like I should ask you. If you cannot tell me straight to the face, if you want to talk to me direct. Do you understand? If I tell you, why don't you like this? I say, oh, nothing. And my there is nothing, until further notice. Until you wake up one day and say, I have a problem with this. It's not my job to try and figure out why doesn't it, okay, maybe he's not into it. And please, I'm too old for that one. And I feel like the earlier you get that, as a 19-year-old, 20-year-old, the earlier you get to that memo, especially if you're dating somebody, the better. Because that way you focus more on actions than what is being said. You get. So I just remember that then I wanted to be like, I got into this. One I told him when I just got married, when we just started dating, sorry. And so I thought, okay, he was on board, he liked it. He said, oh, this is cool, this is nice, which he said. So I was listening to what he said until I decided to do it. and then suddenly like, why, why don't you do this one? Suddenly it's just excuses. Anyway, so my point is your purpose is very important. Okay, when it comes to purpose, try to pay attention to your persons. That's the person you're with. When it comes to purpose, if you're going to get with the person, try and pay attention to what their actions, not what they say, because some people really want to be with you, but there's an idea of what the person that they are with is, and those things are problematic because they are not willing to take you as you are. That's why I say in the end you're singular. You're a singular person. You're one person. You're unique. The way you were born, your temperament. You're such a unique person. So if that person, like a guy now, wants to be with you, and he has gone to a lot of programs where they say, oh, as a woman you're supposed to, the guy carries that notion and brings it to the relationship and says, oh, you're my wife, this is what you should do. But you're like, no, that's not what I want to do. Same thing. They don't swings both ways. You can be with a man and be like, oh, as a man he should. No, we're all everybody is singular. Do you understand? Of course, some things work as a group, but generally we're all one ufufu. Okay, so your purpose should be higher. That is more important than every other thing. You get those of us that are Christians. You plan to go to heaven. There's no marriage in heaven, no. But you see this purpose, God will ask you. So what's happen? Marriage, well, but you see this purpose one. What's happen? You get, so yeah. Your purpose comes first. That's more important than every other thing. So if you're with somebody and you realize that the purpose is getting threatened by that person, or that person is getting, don't give it up. Okay, we know too many people that in their 60s, in their 70s, regret not doing one thing that they should have done in their 30s, or even their 40s, or even their 20s. That's what's putting purpose second or third causes. So get it together, please. Okay, so that's number 5. Number 6. Win or lose together. In this one, you say treat challenges as shared experiences. So I think that let me talk as a Nigerian. I feel like we Nigerians, we are taught to look at challenge as fight. Does that make any sense? We are not the most. We don't embrace this disagreement very well. I don't know if you understand. Have you ever gone to a bank where somebody said, oh, this thing happened to someone took my money, and the person on the other side, as the banker on the other side said, no, that didn't happen. Suddenly you just hear, it's like explosion. What do you mean? You start hearing shouting. So it's like the person just disagreed with you. You get, and yes, there are a lot of things that causes that, but I think that what we've done, and this is one of the reasons why I always say that parents should actually have disagreements around their children. I stand by that till tomorrow. However, I just hope that your disagreement is not the type where when your husband says that's not what it says, then you say you're an idiot, you're a fool. Well, I wonder why I'm married to you. Look at you, see your head. See, do you understand? They call you a man. You cannot do this one. You cannot. I'm not asking you to go and do that one. Go and fix. Go, you and both of you go and fix the way you quarrel. But children, you should be able to disagree. Let your children get used. I feel like a lot of us did not see our parents disagree. Most of us that saw disagreement in our home saw it as violent. Does that make any sense? So it's like most times when your father and your mom, or when your mom disagreed with your father, there was a physical or verbal abuse. I feel like that's a problem. But I think that we as children quarrel in front of your kids. Let your kids see what a healthy disagreement looks like. All of us have that. I feel like all of us have that problem because of that. We did not see healthy disagreements, or some of us did not even see. Someone like me, I don't recall once my mother and my father having a disagreement. Of course, my mom died when I was young, but I don't recall once ever seeing my mom and dad quarrel once. So what that means is that when you now see in a relationship, and it makes people bend a lot in a relationship, when you now see a small disagreement, let's go out. I don't want to go out. And the person say, but I want to go out. You think, okay, fine, let us go. Meanwhile, you can say, but I don't want to go. Why don't you go? Do you understand? Why don't you go? Let me sit down. Is that okay? But he said, but I want to go with you. You put down, sit down, and do you understand? So how did he say it? Win or lose together. You get. Meanwhile, in a relationship, there's no winning. Do you know that? When you have disagreement, there's no winning. If you believe that you win by having the last word, or you win by being right all the time, you're actually the biggest loser of all time in that relationship, because what you're doing is you're bringing down your partner, making yourself bigger, and you think you're winning. You're not winning. You're losing big time, big loss, massive. Yeah, that's what you're doing. So win or lose together when it comes to when you people are having healthy arguments, sometimes they get very heated. Sometimes you need to take a break, go back to your house, come back, go not sorry, not go back, go back, go to different places, come back and realign. I remember one of the counselors I talked to one time said that when there's some kind of quarrels that he has with his wife, that he feels like, why is this an issue? That he'll start speaking in tongues under his breath, not out for her to hear, but he just starts speaking in tongues and telling God, reveal to me like how I'm supposed to handle this, because it was very important to him that they were able to solve this problem, and it helped him. He's been married for over 30 years now, also. You get that he just starts, because the wife needed to say, he cannot tell his wife, hey, keep quiet, and that's why all these things, keep quiet, and the man of the house, shut up, come on, will you shut up there, nonsense. So yeah, we know, accept disagreements as part of the relationship, and it's a wonderful way to grow. It's a great way to get rid of things like dissatisfaction, ingratitude. Is a great way to get rid of all those things, because when you feel like you're winning all the time in a relationship, your spouse gets less and less interested in having confrontations with you and even being honest with you. That's human, whatever. And of course, that depends on the kind of spouse you have. Some people will just get up and leave you because you want to run mad. Enjoy your being right by yourself. So yeah, that's another one. This is number 6. Number 7 is you don't break in a breakup. So at this point, I found this book very interesting because he talked about how love can actually still lead to a breakup. That's what he's saying here, is that you don't break up and then come back. You have to decide, you have to be 100% sure. Say you don't want to be with this person again, and then just go. Just they go. One of the things that shocked me the most when I was when I was in my 20s was the concept of closure. I can talk about this for the next 30 minutes. What are you closing? Please. I'm so sorry. I know a lot of people are into it, but please work with me. What are you closing, and why are you closing this thing you're closing? Closure is I feel like it's such a strange concept. Somebody collected you. And the worst part is when the person did you bad. Someone did something crazy, like, oh, the guy said, oh, he traveled abroad, and just someone blocked you totally. Then you spent next 2 months looking for the person, eventually you find out that the person has just decided they don't want to be with you anymore. You now say, oh, I need to talk to him so I can get closure. Closure, so what will happen? What, you also got to talk to him so I can tell you, well, I don't like the way you smell, I don't like your teeth, I don't like your height, or what? Or he'll tell you, oh, I really love you, but it's not you, it's me. What are you looking for? Because let's be honest, nothing in that cover. Not that conversation is real. I'm so sorry, guy. Okay, you know what? In the comment section, write a time when closure was helpful for you. I want to actually know. Because I'm here to see, I'm telling you, I'm here to see or know or hear a place where this concept of, oh, after you've broken up, you go back. Shetty said there is no break. You don't break in a break. If you've broken up, break, clear. When they say, the Bible said, dust your leg, when after, if they don't agree. Someone that doesn't want to be with you, please don't be with the person. I'm telling you, one of the best gifts you can give yourself is to be the person that wants to be with you. Don't be the person that wants to manage you. Don't be with the person that is like, okay, so like this thing where I see things where they're like, oh, then I now got the parents to go and beg her, and now got her friends to go and beg her. Do you want to be with somebody that you beg to be with you, guys? Ah, God, I hate that I'm laughing because I imagine someone listening to this and not feeling very. I'm so sorry, please forgive me. But the whole thing is wild. To me personally, my own reality is too wild for me to understand. You get. So yeah, but it's very simple. You don't break. See, when you break and be going. The thing where, after 4 or 5 years, you come back and you just think, you've been out there, this one happened, this wasn't working, blah, 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 let us come back. My sister, that's a rough, very, very rough. I'm sorry for you, a woman. It's very rough play. I don't think you should do it. So last, definitely not the least, love and love again. So now, even though this book seemed to treat the concept of romantic love, he actually said that love is to be distributed in multiple places. Because we've done this thing where, and I think social media plays a big part in it. We've done this thing where we've packed every form of love into one person. The love that you have for your partner definitely should be special. Like, it should be, if possible, top tier in the tiers of people in your life. It should be, because in the end, if you end up marrying someone, that person becomes if the person sees if they see the person, they should see you. That's part of what the love is. They understand. You put the person above all else, above your parents, above the children. That is what it's supposed to be. There's no arguments there. But the love that you're supposed to share with your friends, your kids, your family, your co-workers, the stranger downstairs, the all those things, you should not pack all of them and give one person. That's it's too much. And it doesn't make you when you're talking about growing and having a fuller life, it doesn't help you. Think about it. You have the special love for your romantic partner, but you have to love and love again. Be willing to love, be willing to. The thing where you hear people say, oh, you cannot trust friends. That's something our parents, our mothers taught our daughters. You cannot trust your friends. They just want your life. They are jealous of you. To me, it's like it really bothers me, you know. And I remember I got into a problem by saying it on TikTok one time. Somebody said that your girlfriends, your female friends are only there for to collect anything from you. And I'm like, you're telling me you went to primary school, you went to secondary school, you went to university, and you're working. You've not been able to find one girl that is your friend that did not do this. Then the problem may be you. Like I told you that sometimes you're the villain. The reality is that sometimes you're the villain. If you're a good person, good people will attract good people. They will attract bad people too, but good people will come along. You know? So be willing to love, like be willing to still give love despite betrayal, despite disappointment, despite bad things happening to you. Be willing to love and love again. It is all part of this this thing, rules of love. I love this book. This book is one of those books that when I finished, I spent like 2 days sitting down and thinking of my life, thinking of myself. Like I said, it validated me, Sha. So I might be quite biased with it, but it really validated me because these are things that I've always thought and always just never understood. And Jay just hit it on the neck, and I thought hit it on here, and I thought, you know what, fair, you're right. So one of the things we should, before we leave, I have to say I don't have any questions today, but I have to just say, love is practice. I remember when I think I was like 19 years old when I had this argument with some of my cousins. They were talking about love being a feeling. And I was like, I don't think love is a feeling. Love is an action. I believe that when you love someone, you do. You don't love, it's not, oh, I love you, I look into your eyes, I can't wait to see you. Like, yeah, those are good though, I'm telling you. Like, I can't even imagine like a realism where I'm somebody's world and that I matter to them so much that they don't want to be around me. Like, I feel like I'll be on a high for the rest of my life. It's a beautiful place to be. However, what are you using me to do? Do you understand? You might want to be looking at me so that I don't go anywhere else. Is it important to you that I do well? Is it important to you that I am at my best, at the best point of my life, that I'm happy, that I'm at peace, that I don't hurt myself? Is it that's to me, that's what love is. Same thing with you as a when you're giving love to someone. Me, when I'm giving love, it's the same thing. Do you try to remember the things that matter to the person? Do you, like I said, I'm from Genaya, I see you through my eyes. See you through. Do you understand? Are we together in this? You get, for me, that's the ultimate whatever love. So love is practice. Love is every time you go out, when you're thinking and you're going through things, you're thinking through the lens with that person in your mind. If you suddenly feel like doing something very stupid and buffoonish, you think to yourself, how much of a hurt would it cost this other person while I'm being a stupid buffoon out there? Wow. The English I'm throwing around today, I feel like my dad. Anyway, so that's one side. Then, of course, he talked about, he mixed the ancient and modern wisdom. So it's like the things that he learned from his this thing. So a lot of that he'll tell you, like a lot of his stories. You say, oh, when I was training under this particular what are those things called, guru, this was what happened, this is how we learn, those kind of things. But for me, I just think that those are not, I don't practice the religion, I don't know anything about it, but there's a lot to pick from here. So much. So if you're someone that you've had a lot of bad, whether you're married or not, because a reality I also had to get used to was that a lot of us are married here in Nigeria. There are a lot of people that are married to people that they are not in love with and don't love them. It's fine. But if you're someone that wants to get to know what love really is, I think that this might be a good book to read. Do you understand? It's a good soft landing place. Like, just start here. Let's start from the very beginning. Start here, read here, and then start seeing what you can practice, because he actually put practices and things you can do, questions you can ask yourself, things that you can look around, the way you can look at your life and say, okay, so is this working or is this not working? And yeah, that's it for this book. Woo! This is long. Me and love, I can talk about love for the next 3 hours. It's so weird. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, guys. I love you guys. I do. I really, really do. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to comment. Don't forget to like. And please subscribe and ring the doorbell. And until next time. See you now.